Hey guys, welcome back to another review. Today I'm reviewing Shaun the Sheep, Farmageddon, starring Justin Fletcher, John Sparks, Amelia Vittel, and Kate Harbour. Or, not really their voices, just kind of their noises. And this was directed by Will Betcher and Richard Phelan, and is about an alien with amazing powers crash lands on Mossy Bottom Farm. Shaun the Sheep goes on a mission to shepherd the intergalactic visitor home before a sinister organization can capture her. Alright, let's talk about the film itself. First off, why would I review this movie? Literally no one is talking about it, but I thought it was funny that the fact that this movie was nominated, they were taking it seriously. They were like, and the best animated feature nominees are Shaun the Sheep, Farmageddon. I thought that was really silly. It sounded too good to be true. So, and I never heard this movie even came out. I had no idea it did. So, technically this counts as a 2020 movie for American viewers, but not for the British, because the British got this movie in 2019, but it wasn't released here in the US until 2020, which is where I live. Obviously, you could tell by my voice, I'm clearly Asian. So, is this movie good? Well, it's pretty good, I guess. It's as good as it could have been. I remember watching the show a lot when I was a kid, and I remember loving it. And then I also saw the Wallace and Gromit short where Shaun the Sheep first appeared in, A Close Shave, I think it was called. And one of my favorite Wallace and Gromit shorts, by the way. I did not see the 2015 movie. I don't know why. I had no interest in it, but I heard it was pretty good, so if I ever find it somewhere, I will watch it. It is in my watch list on IMDb, so if it ever appears on a streaming service, I constantly check what's new, so I'll know it and I'll watch it. So why did I watch this one for the first one? Because it was nominated for an Oscar, that's why. Literally, there's a lot of movies that I would never have watched if it wasn't for the Best Picture. I would never have watched Over the Moon if it wasn't nominated for an Oscar. And I still kind of regret watching it because I don't think that movie is all that good. Even though, yes, it had some good parts and some good representation, I don't think it deserves to be nominated for Best Animated Feature. But really, what else were they going to nominate? Troll 2? No, Trolls World Tour? No, they're not going to nominate that. So, yeah, they weren't going to nominate that. So, All right, so... All right, let's talk about this movie. Let's talk about the best part of the movie, the animation. It's stop-motion claymation stuff is what Aardman is really known for doing. I think the only one that isn't stop-motion is Arthur Christmas, or at least I think most of that one wasn't. So there are some parts that look very claymation, but... And that one was basically CGI, or maybe it was full CGI, but, that one was great. Arthur Christmas is great. This movie, they're back to their roots of stop-motion claymation, and it's great. It looks amazing. It's very impressive. It's very, very good, very colorful. The movement is very smooth. It's a lot smoother than Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I haven't seen, but I've seen some of the imagery. It's a little jittery, so this one is very smooth, which, by the way, Isle of Dogs did improve the stop motion technique for Wes Anderson. Hopefully he does another one because, Isle of Dogs was okay. It was pretty entertaining. That comment will be outdated in about a week because I have a love-hate relationship with that movie. But this movie is actually not bad. It's okay, actually. It is better than Over the Moon, that's for sure. I know I'm coming across like I have a dying hatred towards Over the Moon. There was some enjoyment I had in it, but other than that, I don't think it's that great. Let's see. There's a lot of good sight gags in this movie. Like, that's what it's known for. It's just what Shaun the Sheep is known for, since it is complete mute. There is no words spoken in this movie. They grunt, groan, moan, make noises. They do whatever they want. It's standard Shaun the Sheep shoot, it's they don't talk at all. I'm glad they didn't do that. Even though I downright despise the Tom and Jerry movie, I at least appreciate that they didn't talk, unlike that 90s one that I haven't seen, but I heard it was bad. But this one, they don't talk, so thank God for that. I don't think they talk in the first one. I don't think they do. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Like I said, if I find it, I'll watch it. But this one is actually not too bad. The plot is very far-fetched, but in the Shaun the Sheep show there were aliens too. So once you know that, it's not too far-fetched, because I completely forgot Shaun the Sheep even existed until this got nominated for an Oscar. I didn't even know this movie even existed until then. I mean, I remember when the movie came out, and even then I still forgot about Shaun the Sheep, but then when the movie came out, I'm like, oh yeah, he was a thing. And then I just completely forgot about him until this one came out, and then I'm like, oh yeah, he's a thing. So yeah, this movie is harmless. Very harmless. I was very worried that this movie was going to be modernized. Rap music, flossing, dabbing, basically the entire movie of Scoob. And Tom and Jerry. I thought this movie was going to be like that, but it's actually not. There's some pop songs in it, but they felt out of place. But it was not too bad, and there is kind of a rap in the ending credits that I wasn't a huge fan of. But who cares? It's at the credits. If you turn the movie off like 5 seconds before it ends, you will miss it. So it doesn't matter. I'm so glad they didn't modernize this movie that much. Yeah, alright, what else? The movie's pretty entertaining. I was never bored once. The movie's like 86 minutes long. It's not long at all. And the movie is very entertaining throughout the whole film. There are some funny parts, a lot of funny parts. I found myself consistently chuckling and actually laughed out loud a couple times. The villain's henchmen probably got the most laughs out of me. The hazmat guys, they're freaking awesome. Okay, and of course the sight gags, like the visuals and stuff, very Simpsons-esque humor. Not Simpsons-esque, Aardman style, like very Wallace and Gromit, very Shaun the Sheep show type of humor. Yeah, and also, how long has that sheep been a baby? There's a baby sheep. The sheep has been a baby since the show, and it hasn't grown up an inch. I'm actually kind of worried that it's not a baby and that it's just a midget. I'm legit worried about that baby sheep's health. So yeah, farmer might want to put it into a, I don't know, science lab. Maybe they found a sheep with infinite youth. I'm thinking too much. I'm thinking too hard. Okay. You don't think too hard with Shaun the Sheep or anything like this. You don't put logic into this, because there are a lot of scenes in this movie where logic goes out the window. I also did appreciate some of the classic sci-fi references. They reference 2001: A Space Odyssey, Signs, X-Files. I was really hoping for a Blade Runner, but we didn't get that. That was kind of a bummer. But what kid has seen Blade Runner? I have, and it's freaking awesome. All right. Negatives now. Let's do my negatives. I felt the villain was very cookie cutter. Once you find out her motivation, I'm like, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. This is not new. Nothing new. Even though the payoff at the ending was decent, I felt that it was not convincing enough. I didn't feel like the villain's motivation was that, like, I could get behind that. It's not a Scar from the Lion King type, because to be honest, Scar had a pretty legit reason to be a villain. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just using an animated one. There's other villains out there that should be villains because of what happened to them, but I'm just using Scar because it's an animated movie and it's the first one to come to my mind. There are other ones, but this is the only one that came to my mind at the time. The villain's very cookie cutter. The henchmen are awesome, though. I was infinitely more entertained with the henchmen than the villain. Basically, long story short, the villain is weak. Not terrible, just weak. That's usually something that happens with movies nowadays, is that the villains are usually very weak now. I think the MCU has something to do with that. Like in Justice League had like a terrible villain, like Steppenwolf, terrible. And then the Snyder Cut came out and actually turned him pretty good. So yeah. Anything else? Any other thing? I think that there's one scene in the supermarket that went on for too long, and then it's never brought up again. There's really nothing that happens again to foreshadow anything in some of these scenes. I mean, there's some parts that do foreshadow, and I do and I do appreciate for them for doing that, but I felt the scene just went on a little too long. And plus, the whole name of the movie, Farmageddon, is kind of misleading. It makes you feel like, what, are all the sheep gonna go extinct, or is the farm gonna go extinct because this alien's gonna wipe them out or something? And that's what I thought when I heard the word Farmageddon, but no, it's this theme park the farmer builds called Farmageddon. So you're like, oh, okay, so there's no Armageddon actual thing. Oh, I guess you could call that also a reference to the Michael Bay movie Armageddon. I haven't seen it, though, so I might have missed it. I will one day, though. Sounds like could be a fun time if it wasn't 2.5 hours long. Okay. Anything else I could talk about the Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon? Nah, not really. I felt it ended abruptly. Yeah, that's about it. So anyway, so in conclusion, Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon is an enjoyable watch. It's not perfect. It's not the best movie. It's not my go-to winner of the best animated features that were nominated, but this movie is definitely enjoyable. It's a fun, lighthearted watch. It's harmless fun. That's what I say. I'm gonna give Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon a B and is enjoyable. So, if you've seen Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon, what did you think about it? If you like this review, give it a like. And I know not a lot of people actually want me to review this movie, but no one else is, so I will. I'm basically like Thanos. Fine, I'll do it myself. So anyway, see ya.